Council, the directors and members of the Management Committee, Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation, esteemed members of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. I am pleased to warmly welcome you all to the commemoration of the 2026 World Press Freedom Day, with the theme, Shaping a Future at Peace, promoting press freedom as a human right, development, and security. This theme for this year, you must agree with me, is very timely and apt, and it further emphasizes the growing importance of credible information in promoting stability, development, and national cohesion. Today, Nigeria has convened this high-level Inter-Ministerial press conference to join the rest of the world to commemorate the World Press Freedom Day. This occasion provides a pivotal opportunity for reflection and constructive engagement on how best to advance a media environment that is both free and responsible for good governance, national development, and security. Recognizing the critical role played by the rapidly evolving information ecosystem, this event brings together key stakeholders from government institutions, the media, security agencies, and development partners to reflect and consolidate on our shared commitments towards strengthening press freedom for a more informed and inclusive society. The expansion of digital platforms and emerging technologies has significantly enhanced information generation and dissemination. However, technology has also introduced complexities that require coordinated institutional responses, particularly in addressing misinformation and strengthening public trust. The World Press Freedom Day provides a unique opportunity for us to deepen collaboration, align institutional perspectives, and reinforce mechanisms that will support a safer and more enabling environment for media practice in Nigeria. The Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation remains committed to facilitating dialogue, strengthening partnerships, and promoting initiatives that enhance responsible information broadcast. We will continue to work closely with relevant stakeholders to advance policies and programs that support professionalism, capacity building, and ethical standards within the media space. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let me emphasize that our collective efforts, sustained cooperation, and mutual understanding amongst all actors within the information and communication landscape are critical to achieving our desired goals within the sector. While I appreciate your continued commitment to this important national cause, I also look forward to the Ministries of Information and National Orientation to commemorate the World Press Freedom Day, sensitize and engage stakeholders at the various state levels. On this note, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I thank you all for your kind attention, and my prayer is that God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you.
Please, can we make the applause a bit resounding for the Permanent Secretary the Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation. It may interest you to know that the Permanent Secretary is a fellow of West African College of Surgeons, and the way she delivered that paper is as a surgeon delivering a bouncing baby in the delivery room. Please, a round of applause once again for the Permanent Secretary. Thank you very much for that welcome address. Without wasting any much time, we'll move to the next item on the agenda, which is a speech from our UNESCO partners. Please welcome to the microphone the head of UNESCO Abuja office, represented here by the head of Communication and Information Sector, Ms. Yachat Nuhu. Please, a round of applause for her as she comes on stage.
I hope I'm not too short. Good afternoon, all. Your Excellency, Honorable Minister of Information and National Orientation, Alhaji Mohammed Idris, the Permanent Secretary, Dr. B.M. Nkeru, the representative of the Inspector General of Police, the Director General, Department of State Services, representative from the Press Council, the senior directors of the ministry, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. My name once again is Yachat Nuhu. I'm from UNESCO Abuja office, and it's a real honor and privilege to stand before you all. On behalf of UNESCO Abuja, permit me to first of all extend our deepest appreciation to the Honorable Minister of Information and National Orientation, sir. Last week was a beautiful event, and UNESCO appreciates it. We say thank you. We gather today at a pivotal moment while we celebrate here in Abuja. The global community meets in Lusaka, Zambia, under the theme that resonates at the very core of the Nigerian experience, shaping a future of peace, at peace. In Nigeria, we understand that a society at peace is not merely one characterized by the absence of noise. It is one built on the presence of an informed citizenry and a media that can operate without fear. Press freedom is not a luxury for journalists. It is a fundamental pillar of democracy anchored in Article 19 of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. When this right is protected, societies flourish. When it is undermined, trust erodes and development flutters. However, the global landscape remains fragile. UNESCO flagship World Trends report on freedom of expression and media development provides a sobering perspective. The report reveals a global rise in digital threats and a chilling effect caused by surveillance on investigative journalism. It warns us that when the safety of journalism is compromised, the very future at peace we seek to shape begins to crumble. This report is online for anyone who wants to assess it. It's something that I feel everyone here should have access to go through and to really understand where we are today. In Nigeria, we must use this report as our compass. We have already begun this journey through deep years of collaboration with multi-stakeholders across Nigeria. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, as we look at the 2027 general elections, we must recognize that journalism are the front lines of our democracy. Their safety is directly linked to the credibility of our electoral processes. UNESCO continues to advocate for the UN Plan of Action on the safety of journalism, ensuring that attacks against the media are not only prevented, but persecuted. Furthermore, we must confront the digital dilemma. The rapid expansion of platforms has allowed false information to spread faster than ever, threatening social coherence. Our defense against this is twofold: the media and information literacy, empowering every Nigerian to critically evaluate the content they consume; ethical journalism, upholding the highest standard of accuracy and fairness to maintain public trust. No single actor can address these challenges alone. The choices we make today about technology, education, partnership will determine the future of our information ecosystem. UNESCO remains committed to supporting Nigeria through technical assistance and policy dialogue. To the media here today, your courage is the cornerstone of Nigerian stability. UNESCO stands with you. Ladies and gentlemen, let us renew our commitment to protect freedom of expression as a universal human right, to ensure the safety and dignity of media professionals, to combat misinformation while safeguarding fundamental freedoms. In closing, let us shape a future where information empowers, where journalism thrives, and where peace is sustained through truth and dialogue. Thank you for your kind attention.
Please, a resounding round of applause once again for UNESCO partners. Thank you very much. While she was giving that remark, I spotted in the room the chairman of the Nigerian Union of Journalists, Federal Information Chapel, Comrade Babasanjo Towoju. Please, a round of applause for him. Thank you for coming here today. Very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we'll take a goodwill message from the Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Press Council, Dr. Dili Izuga. Please, a round of applause for him as he comes on stage.
I thought I was taller than this. Good afternoon, the Honorable Minister of Information, Alhaji Mohammed Idris. Happy birthday, sir. He's only 60. Can you believe that? But he's done so much that you wouldn't know that he's just 60. And when you look at him, you wouldn't even know he's 60. Thank you very much, sir. The Permanent Secretary of the Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation, Dr. Binyenem, I think I should pronounce her name properly, Binyenem Chigboonwu Ukire. Department of State Services, Chukwuka. Chukwuka, you're welcome. The Nigerian Police Force, the IG of Police, presented by Anthony Okon. You're welcome, sir. UNESCO representative. Ladies and gentlemen, I understand my boss, the president of NUJ, you're all welcome. You know, when we talk about press freedom, it's just a call for all to realize and to accept that journalists have a right to practice their profession in freedom without molestation. It is also a call for journalists to know that freedom of the press is not freedom to do anyhow you like in the media space. It's not freedom of information. There are rules and there are regulations that must be followed and must be met. And when these rules and regulations are followed and met, that the journalist should be free to practice his trade, just as the policeman should be free to practice his trade, just as the soldier should be free to practice his trade, etc. The federal government of Nigeria has realized that perhaps the best way to bring this home to all of us is to better educate the citizenry about what journalism is, about what freedom is. The representative of UNESCO talked about a landmark event that took place in this country just last week. the establishment of UNESCO Stage 2, media and information literacy for every single citizen of this country. It's huge, and it's the first time that it's happening in this country. And we have to give special recognition and special thanks to the Honorable Minister of Information seated here to make that possible. Thank you. That's all.
Please resound the round of applause for the Executive Secretary, Nigerian Press Council. Thank you very much for your kind words. Very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, we'll move to the next item on the agenda, which is the speech by the Inspector General of Police, Olatunji Disu, ably represented here by the First Public Relations Officer, the Deputy Commissioner of Police, Anthony Okon-Placide, MNIPR. Please resound the round of applause for him. I believe the applause can be a bit louder. Thank you very much.
The Honorable Minister of Information and National Orientation, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Information and National Orientation, the Director of State Services, and the President of Journalists Association, if I'm not mistaken, UNICEF representative, members of the Fourth Estate, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I am DCP Anthony Placide, the First Public Relations Officer, and here to deliver the goodwill message from the Inspector General of Police, IGP Olatunji Rilwan Disu, PSC Daga, NPN. On behalf of the officers and men of the Nigerian Police Force, I am honored to extend our warmest felicitation to journalists and media professionals across Nigeria and the globe as we celebrate World Press Freedom Day 2026. The theme for this year, shaping a future at peace, promoting press freedom as a human right development and security, resonates deeply with our constitutional mandate. There can be no sustainable development or lasting security without the free flow of accurate information. A free press is not merely a component of democracy, it is the oxygen that sustains it. The Nigerian Police Force recognizes that journalists are indispensable partners in the maintenance of law and order. By providing a platform for dialogue and acting as watchdogs, the press helps to mitigate conflict and hold institutions accountable. In our collective effort to shape a future at peace, the media serves as an early warning system that identifies social grievances before they escalate into security threats. We reaffirm our commitment to the safety of all media practitioners. Under my leadership, the Nigerian Police Force has prioritized the protection of journalists as a fundamental human right. We are continuously refining our engagement protocols to ensure that Reporters can discharge their duties without fear of harassment, intimidation, or violence. Any infringement on the rights of journalists is an affront to the rule of law and will remain dedicated to investigating and prosecuting such violations. As we celebrate our freedom, we also urge the media to remain steadfast in the ethics of the profession. In an era where fake news and disinformation can compromise national security and spark civil unrest, the role of the professional journalist as a gatekeeper of truth is more critical than ever. As we look towards a future defined by peace and development, let it be known that the Nigerian Police Force stands in solidarity with the press. We are partners in progress, united by a shared love for country and our commitment to a secure, informed, and prosperous Nigeria. Happy World Press Briefing Day. Signed, the IGP.
I believe the applause can be a bit louder for the Inspector General of Police. Thank you very much, sir. Just to put on record, UNESCO, not UNICEF. Thank you very much. Very distinguished ladies and gentlemen. We'll move to the next speech to be delivered, after which we invite the Honorable Minister to come up on stage. Next speech is to be delivered by the Director General of the Department of State Services, represented here by the Director of Protocol, M.O. Chukwuka, FSI. Please, a round of applause for her as she comes on stage.
The Honorable Minister of Information and National Orientation, the Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation, distinguished guests, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon, and welcome to the 2026 World Press Freedom Day, first initiated on 3rd May 1991 in Namibia, and later proclaimed officially by United Nations Assembly in 1993. I'm honored, on behalf of our amiable Director General Oluwatosin Adiola Ajayi, MON, to deliver this keynote intervention on the theme, Shaping a Future at Peace, promoting press freedom as a human right, development, and security. This theme is both timely and significant. In an era defined by rapid technological change, rising insecurity, and increasing social tensions, the role of a free, responsible, and professional press has never been more critical. Press freedom is first and foremost a fundamental human right. It is rooted in the universal principles of freedom of expression, access to information, and the dignity of the individual. Article 19 of Universal Declaration of Human Rights states that, I quote, "Everyone has a right to freedom of opinion and expression, to seek, receive, and impart information and ideas through any media." A society where journalists can report freely, investigate facts, and express informed opinion without fear is a society that respects democratic values and human liberty. In addition, press freedom is a powerful drive of development. No nation can achieve sustainable press progress in an environment where truth is suppressed and citizens are uninformed. A vibrant media promotes transparency, exposes corruption, educates the public, and stimulates constructive debate on national priorities. It empowers citizens to participate meaningfully in governance and nation building. Furthermore, press freedom is closely linked to security and peace. Where credible information flows freely, misinformation, rumors, and extremist narratives are less likely to thrive. Responsible journalism can reduce tension, promote understanding, and build trust between citizens and institutions. In times of crisis, the media serve as an essential bridge between government and the people. However, a dilemma exists between press freedom and national security, particularly as the security operations often depends on confidentiality and secrecy. This is one of the defining governance challenges of our time. On one hand, a press free is indispensable to democracy, accountability, and the protection of human rights. And every responsible state has a duty to safeguard its citizens, define its sovereignty, and protect sensitive information whose disclosure may endanger lives or compromise operations. The tension between these two imperatives is real. Security institutions rely on secrecy for legitimate reasons. Intelligence gathering, counter-terrorism planning, hostage rescue efforts, diplomatic negotiations, and protection of critical infrastructure often require confidentiality. Premature or reckless disclosure of such information can jeopardize mission, expose personnel, embolden adversaries, and create panic. At the same time, excessive secrecy can become harmful. When national security is used too broadly as a justification for withholding information, it may shield misconduct, conceal failures, weaken public trust, and erode democratic accountability. Secrecy without accountability can create suspicion, while transparency without caution can create vulnerability. Therefore, the true challenge is not choosing one over the other. It is striking a principled balance. Press freedom and national security should not be seen as permanent enemies. In mature societies, both can coexist through clear laws, responsible institutions, and ethical journalism. Government must define national security exceptions narrowly and lawfully. Information should be restricted only when disclosure presents a genuine, specific, and measurable risk, not merely because it is inconvenient or embarrassing. Additionally, security institutions must cultivate strategic transparency. While operational details may remain classified, citizens should still receive timely and truthful information about threats, policy direction, and outcomes. Silence often creates a vacuum that misinformation quickly fills. In the same vein, the media also carries responsibility. Journalists have a duty to investigate and inform, but also to weigh the public interest against the potential harm of publication. Responsible editorial judgment can protect both truths and lives. Trusted channels of engagement between media and security agencies are equally essential. Regular briefings, crisis communication mechanisms, and professionalism structures can reduce unnecessary confrontation and build mutual understanding. History shows that societies are strongest not when secrecy dominates, nor when every secret is exposed, but when institutions know what must be protected and what must be disclosed. A nation at peace requires both security and liberty. Security without freedom risks dictatorship. Freedom without security risks disorder. But when wisely placed, each reinforces the other. The dilemma between press freedom and national security is not insoluble. It demands wisdom, restraint, legality, and trust. Our task is to ensure that secrecy serves the public interests, not power alone, and that press freedom strengthens the nation rather than weakens it. Press freedom must go hand in hand with responsibility, ethics, and professionalism. Freedom without accountability can be exploited to spread falsehood and incitement and division. Therefore, while protecting media independence, we must also encourage fact-checking, ethnic standards, and responsible use of digital platforms. To shape a future at peace, governments, civil servants, media institutions, and citizens must work together to create an environment where journalists are safe, media organizations are independent, and truth is valued over propaganda. We must invest in media literacy, strengthen legal protection for journalists, and protect dialogue rather than censorship. We must recognize that the pen, the microphone, and the camera are not threats to peace when guided by integrity. They are instruments of peace. In conclusion, a peaceful future cannot be built in silence or fear. It must be built on truth, justice, openness, and informed participation. By promoting press freedom as a human right, a tool for development, and a pillar of security, will lay the foundation for stronger institutions and more peaceful society. Finally, it is worthy of note that although the Department of State Services is a champion of national security, it equally values press freedom. Recall on 2nd December 2025, the International Press Institute, IPI, awarded our Exceptional Director General, Oluwatosin Adiola Ajayi, MON, with the Press Freedom Award, a recognition of his results in promoting press freedom, improving relations between the Department of State Services and journalists, and encouraging dialogue instead of confrontation with the media. And just last month, on the 8th of April 2026, our credible DG was awarded with the appellation of Friend of the Media by the Broadcasting Organization of Nigerian born. These awards are proof that although the Department of State Service is diligent in the fight for national security, we see the press as a veritable tool in this fight for a safer Nigeria and not a hindrance thereof. And this we will continue to do. Thank you for your kind attention. And least I forget, happy birthday, Your Excellency, sir. Honorable Minister, happy birthday, happy 60th birthday. Thank you, sir.
With a round of applause for her. Thank you very much. Please resound a round of applause once again for the representative of the Director General of the Department of State Services. Thank you for your kind remarks. Very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I've tried my possible best to be on stage and avoid the conversation of the birthday. But coming up next is a man who was shaped not only by ambition, but by the rare patience to listen, the uncommon courage to speak, and the wisdom to know when silence itself becomes a message. Today, we do not simply mark the passage of time. We recognize a life that has given time meaning, a steward of information, a custodian of national orientation, a man whose years do not weigh him down, but lift him into significance. And so, at 60, we do not ask what remains. We stand in admiration of what endures. Very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I give you the birthday boy, the Honorable Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, Fellow of the Nigerian Institute of Public Relations.
Thank you. I'm actually 2 days older than the birthday, so you are late. Thank you very much. The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Information and National Orientation, Dr. Ukire, who By the way, as mentioned by the Master of Ceremony, is fast becoming an information officer. She is less than 3 weeks here, but the rate at which she's going, by the time she spends 1 year, she will become probably a fellow of the Nigerian Guild of Editors. Thank you for the work you do and for the interest that you are really showing in this sector. The Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Press Council, the representative of the Inspector General of Police, the representative of the Director General of the Department of State Services, and I'm also seeing the Director of Information in the Villa. Thank you for coming, and all the directors of the Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation, representatives of the Nigerian Guild of Editors, Nigerian Union of Journalists, the Broadcasting Organization of Nigeria, and all people in this sector. Let me thank you and appreciate you for coming, and also let me use this platform to thank all of you, including the local chapter of the International Press Institute, for really collaborating and making my work a lot easier as Minister of Information and National Orientation. I don't take that for granted. We will continue to do more in the interest of our country. I haven't listened to my permanent secretary and the DG of DSS represented here and the Inspector General of Police. I honestly thought I should just come up and say thank you very much and sit down, because everything that they have talked about is what I want to talk about. But of course, I know it will be complete without the voice of the Minister of Information. So I have this duty to read my paper. Today, Nigeria joins the global community in commemorating World Press Freedom Day, a moment that reminds us of a fundamental truth, and that is that no democracy can thrive without a free, responsible, and trusted press. This occasion is not only for celebration, but also for reflection on the state of our media, the safety of journalists, and integrity of the information that shapes our society. This year's theme, Shaping a Future at Peace, promoting press freedom as human right, development, and security, is both timely and instructive. It underscores that press freedom is not merely about the media. It is about the kind of society we are collectively building. A society that is open, that is accountable, that is peaceful, that is also, above all, guided by truth. In Nigeria, the media has remained a central force in our national journey. From the struggle to independence to the restoration and consolidation of our democratic governance, journalists and media institutions have played a pivotal role in informing citizens, shaping public discourse, and holding leaders to account. This contribution remains indispensable to the growth and sustenance of our democracy. A free and responsible press is a cornerstone of democratic governance. It serves as a watchdog, a platform for civic engagement, and a vehicle for transparency and accountability. The federal government fully recognizes press freedom as a fundamental right enshrined in our Constitution, the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and it remains committed to its protection and promotion. Let me reaffirm unequivocally that the federal government does not support all forms of intimidation, unlawful harassment, or attacks against journalists and all media professionals carrying out their lawful and legal duties. A media environment in which journalists feel unsafe ultimately weakens our democracy itself. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is fully committed to fostering an environment where the media can operate freely, safely, and responsibly in accordance with democratic principles and the rule of law. However, we must also acknowledge the evolving realities of today's information ecosystem. The rapid expansion of digital platforms, social media, and emerging technologies, including artificial intelligence, has transformed how information is produced, disseminated, and ultimately consumed. While these advancements have expanded access to information, they have also amplified the risk of misinformation, disinformation, and information disorder, challenges that threaten public trust, national cohesion, and security. Let me say here that with the advent of the social media, new media, and the digital media, it is important that they are aimed, or they should aim at promoting unity and fostering better understanding amongst our people. Sadly, however, this same platform has become somewhat a source of worry to all of us. We have seen how the influence of deepfakes, the influence of artificial intelligence, and fake news generally has threatened the very democracy that press freedom seeks to advance and to protect. Therefore, in response to these challenges, Nigeria, under the able leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and in partnership with UNESCO, and I want to thank the representative of UNESCO here present for what they have done to Nigeria, their interest and their belief that Nigeria indeed can play a pivotal role in cleaning the global community of the menace of fake news and disinformation. And that is why they went to a great extent, after a very long and tedious process, a 2-year process, granted Nigeria the hosting right for the UNESCO Media Information Literacy Center, which was, by the way, only unveiled by the president a few days ago in Abuja. We want to thank UNESCO, we want to thank the global community for this trust and confidence that they have in Nigeria. And I want to assure you that Nigeria will continue to live up to its billing to ensure that Nigeria is indeed the center where solution to the issues of fake news and deepfakes can actually find its way to the global community. We will provide that hope for the global community to find a lasting solution to the issues of fake news and misinformation. As we look ahead to the 2027 general elections, the media's role becomes even more critical. A professional, ethical, and responsible media will be central to ensuring that we have a free, fair, peaceful, and credible elections. The media must continue to provide accurate, timely, and verified information while resisting the spread of harmful narratives that undermine democratic processes, public trust, and national stability. It is incumbent on the media that it must provide that self-cleansing mechanism that enable it to safeguard the very democracy that it sets out to protect in the first place. Under the leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the federal government has taken, in addition to what I have outlined earlier, deliberate steps to strengthen transparency, expand access to information, and promote a more open and accountable communication environment. These include sustained engagement with the media through regular briefings and open government communication channels, renewed emphasis on effective implementation of the Freedom of Information Act, and strategic investments in communication platforms to ensure timely and accurate dissemination of information to citizens. And let me pause here to salute the effort of Mr. President, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, in not just ensuring that he allows us to do our work in the best way that we could under the relevant laws, but he has also gone a step further to ensure that public information platforms owned by the federal government are being enhanced. The fact that we are here sitting in this place, the premises owned by the Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, is a justification and a further example of how far the federal government is going to invest in agencies under the Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation, especially the Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, the Nigerian Television Authority, News Agency of Nigeria, and all of them, to ensure that they are once again taking their rightful place in the promotion and the dissemination of credible information for the Nigerian public. Very soon, of course, the National Press Center will wear a very good look. We are already working on that. We are here because the National Press Center is being restored to become what it should be actually, not a venue where weddings and ceremonies take place, but a truly national press center. We are on our way to achieving it through the support of Mr. President, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I'm sure in a couple of weeks from now, we'll take you there to unveil what we are doing. The Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation, under my leadership, will continue to deepen collaboration among government institutions, the media, and civil society organizations and international partners. Our goal is clear. We aim at building a resilient, credible, and inclusive information ecosystem that supports democratic governance, national unity, and sustainable development. At the same time, it is important to emphasize that press freedom, as has been outlined earlier, comes with enormous responsibility. Media practitioners must continue to uphold the highest standards of professionalism anchored on accuracy, fairness, ethical conduct, and fact-based reporting. In an era where false information spreads so rapidly, responsible journalism is not optional. It is essential to national stability and public trust. And it is because of that that I'm glad to have listened to the Director General of the DSS through his representative, to have listened to the Inspector General of Police for the kind of work they are doing. And let me say, DG, representative of the IG, I will continue to remind the DG DSS, I will also continue to remind the IG of Police of what was mentioned here today. We must work collaboratively as a government to protect freedom of expression, freedom of the press. But we must also continue to work as media practitioners to ensure that press freedom and responsibility are not mutually exclusive. You can't carry one and leave the other. Both of them must go together so that we can have the kind of democratic, free, and developed society that all of us crave to have. The true test of press freedom lies not in our declarations, but in our actions, all of us, those in government, the security agencies, and the media organization. All of us would not just pay lip service to the idea of press freedom. It is in how we as media practitioners can do our work and how truthfully information is also shared by us and how responsibly it is also consumed by the generality of our people. So all of us have to work together, collaboratively, working towards one direction to ensure that we have a media-free environment that promotes and strengthens national unity. As we commemorate this important day, let us move beyond words and renew our collective commitment to protecting journalists, promoting truth, and strengthening public trust. And when I talk about public trust here, it is both ways. The public must trust government in what it does, and government must also trust that the media is actually being truthful, being fair in what it puts out to the public. In doing so, we will not only safeguard press freedom, but also secure the future of our democracy. Thank you very much, and thank you for listening. And I hope that going forward, we will have a renewed environment, renewed collaboration for a better, mutually beneficial relationship between the press, security agencies, and government. Thank you for listening.
Please, a resounding round of applause and a standing ovation for the Honorable Minister of Information and National Orientation. Thank you very much. You may please be seated. Thank you. Oftentimes, I am asked how you are able to hold the audience together. And I do well to point them that the apple does not fall far from the tree. So, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for my mentor, the Honorable Minister of Information and National Orientation. Thank you very much. Quickly, we'll take questions at this time. And as soon as we take those questions, please, you state your name, the media organization you report for, and straight to the question. For the sake of time, we'll just entertain 2 questions for this event. Please, a show of hands. 1. All right, let's take that question. Thank you. The mic is there.
Good afternoon, the Honorable Minister. Good afternoon, members of the High Table. Colleagues, good afternoon. My question is for the IGP and the DSS. My name is Joshua Adams, and I report for Radio Nigeria. In the course of doing our jobs, sometimes some of our colleagues get arrested and sometimes denied access to their principals. While you work to protect these principals, we are to get information from them. What will you be doing in your offices to ensure that the collaboration, we work together to ensure that we have a safer and a more peaceful Nigeria in the course of doing our jobs to ensure press freedom? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. We'll take turns. Whoever wants to go first to answer this question. Do we have the second question? No, no second question, Honorable Minister, sir. So, Inspector General of Police, sir.
In response to the question asked, I'd like to state that we have a mandate to protect, and that mandate ensures that if a journalist is in conflict with the law, the police force have a duty to investigate thoroughly and ensure that there's no infringement of the editors or journalists' fundamental human rights. And at the same time, I would like to add that if a journalist has been arrested, there's need to get in touch with the first public relations officer license office. And luckily enough, we have a media section headed by CSP Aliu Giwa. And so in case of any infringement on your rights, I will certainly appeal to you to get across to the media section, and the information will get to me and the Inspector General of Police subsequently. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please, a round of applause for him. And I believe the DSS aligns with that line of thought as well. Thank you very much. Please, a round of applause for our guests. Thank you so much. Very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, time is fast spent. To give us the vote of thanks for why we've gathered here today is none other than the Director, Public Communication and National Orientation, Mr. Henshaw Ogubike, MNIPR. Please, a round of applause for him as he makes his way to the stage. Thank you very much. These are the gentlemen that have been working behind the scene round the clock, ensuring that we have a productive outing here today. Please, once again, a round of applause for the Director of Public Communication and National Orientation, Mr. Henshaw Ogubike.
Good afternoon. The Honorable Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, FNIPR, the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Information, Dr. Bionem Okaire, other distinguished invitees. Please let me stand on the already established protocol and proceed. On behalf of the Honorable Minister of Information, it is my privilege to propose the vote of thanks at the close of this high-level Inter-Ministerial Press Conference commemorating World Press Freedom Day 2026. I wish to express our profound appreciation to the Honorable Minister of Information and National Orientation for his leadership, guidance, and unwavering commitment to promoting a free, responsible, and development-oriented media in Nigeria. We're equally grateful to the Permanent Secretary for our strategic coordination and steadfast support in ensuring the successful convening of this important engagement. Our sincere appreciation also goes to the IGP of Police, the DGSSS, for their presence and continued support toward ensuring a safe and secure information environment. We also acknowledge the head of the UNESCO Abuja office, a valued development partner, the Nigerian Press Council, and the press crew of the Ministry of Information and National Orientation for honoring our invitation and for their active participation in this engagement. I also wish to acknowledge the depth and quality of contributions made during this interactive session. The questions, observations, and insights shared have greatly enriched this engagement and underscored the collective commitment of stakeholders to strengthening responsible journalism and improving the national information ecosystem. I further commend my staff and the organizing team of this program for their diligence, professionalism, and attention to detail in ensuring the smooth planning and execution of this program. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, as we conclude, it is our hope that this engagement, ideas, and partnerships strengthened here today will continue to guide collective efforts towards a more credible, responsible, and resilient media environment in Nigeria. Once again, I thank you for honoring our invitation. Thank you, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Please, a resounding round of applause for the Director of Public Communication and National Orientation, Mr. Henshaw Ogobike, MNIPR. Ladies and gentlemen, with that, we've come to the end of today's proceedings. At this time, I beg on all to please rise as we take the national pledge to bring this event to a close, after which we'll take photo ops with our dignitaries in front. Thank you very much.